Welcome back, guys. Today we're going to continue our NFL predictions with the San Francisco 49ers. And I kind of called this season for the 49ers. I said that they were my pick to go, let alone win the Super Bowl. And while they almost accomplished that goal, I do think this was a really great year for the 49ers. They had an all-pro running back in Christian McCaffrey. Brock Purdy played at an MVP level. And let's not ignore the defense, which was one of the best in the league. Because you had Fred Warner at linebacker, Nick Bosa. Now, they did have a big injury, which I'll talk about in the lowlights on that side of the ball. But this 49er team was expected to be good, and they wound up being elite. And now, their schedule. They started off 5-0 in the season and almost crushing every single opponent in their path. Then they run into a logjam with the Cleveland Browns. I think Jake Moody missed a go-ahead field goal that cost that. They lost to Kirk Cousins' Vikings, and then they lost to the Cincinnati Bengals, 5-3. But after the bye week, they had the chance to heal up and continue their winning ways, only to be set back with the Baltimore Ravens. But by the time they beat the Commanders, they already had home field advantage. That's why they lost to the Rams the final week of the season. And in the playoffs, since they had the number one seed, they played in the divisional round. They had to get two come from behind wins, both against their sons in the Green Bay Packers, and they won in the NFC Championship game against the Detroit Lions. They went to the Super Bowl, where once again they saw the Chiefs. The game went to overtime, but unfortunately, the defense ran out of gas, and the Chiefs were able to repeat. Now let's talk about the highlights of the season. And they had quite a few, but I'm only going to mention three because that's all I have time for. We have their dominance, particularly against the Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys, two teams that were supposed to be in the elite class with the three best teams in the NFC. The 49ers just rolled past both of them. You had the comeback against the Lions, where it looked like the Lions dominated the first half. It was like 24-7 or something. But some unforced errors and coaching decisions by Dan Campbell caused that game for the Lions. And what do you know? Let's get to the lowlights. And the big injury I was talking about on their defense was losing Kamunga to a torn ACL. I believe if Kamunga was it finished the regular season out, I believe the Niners would have gotten over the hump and get their sixth Super Bowl. Then he had that mid-season slump where they lost to the Browns, Vikings, and Bengals respectively. And the reason for that mid-season slump was injuries. I think Trent Williams, the best tackle in the game, he got hurt during that stretch. McCaffrey hurt his oblique during that stretch. Deebo wasn't healthy. And luckily, they had a bye week, week 9. And once all of them came back from their bye week and recovered, they was able to continue their little run. And then, obviously, losing to the Super Bowl to the Chiefs again when they had a lead is just like history just knows love to repeat itself in the NFL. Now, for some acquisitions, they added Leonard Floyd from the Bills. They added Yetur Gross-Matos from the Carolina Panthers, Malik Collins from the Texans, and they also added Jordan Elliott, I believe from the Lions. Now, they did lose Sam Darnold to the Vikings. Eric Armstead got cut, but he signed with Jacksonville. Ken Law is gone, and Isaiah Oliver is gone. Luckily, just some depth, just losing some depth. Armstead did hurt, though. That didn't really lose too much from that team. And now, their draft. They drafted Ricky Pearsall from Florida, and mostly all. And the reason why they took him all had to do with the rumors involving Deebo and Brandon Ayuk. They have been in the trade talks ever since April around the draft, and no one knows when they're going to take. No one knows what's going to happen to those two guys. So they added this guy from Florida, who he had an okay career. Outside of that, they drafted Renardo Green from Florida State. They took Malik Mustafa from Wake Forest, Isaac Guerrero from Louisville. They took another receiver from Arizona, but one of their biggest needs, which I felt like was the D line, some depth for their D line, they failed to address that, and that might be a problem going forward. But what do I think about their record? Let's take a look at their schedule. All right, 49er fans, let's take a look. Opening up your season, you have the New York Jets. And not any ordinary New York Jets, it's Aaron Rodgers' New York Jets. And luckily for the Jets, you're starting this season on grass. Thank God. But I think this is going to be a really classic Week 1 game. Robert Saleh is taking on his former team. But I am going to have to roll with the 49ers to win this one. Then Week 2 against got the Minnesota Vikings Week 2. Now last year, 49ers for some reason lost that game on the road. But I think they're going to get their revenge and get a nice little win over the Minnesota Vikings. I do think the Vikings are a little weaker this year. And then they have a de facto home game against the Rams. Give them a win there. Week 4, they have the New England Patriots on Monday night. Well, not Monday Night Football, just a regular ordinary game. I'm going to roll with the 49ers to win. They're the better team. Winning. So then they have a road matchup. It's 5-0 right now. And I got to do it. I'm going to give Seattle the win on the road. Tough, short week. I know the 49ers have done it against Seattle many times. Maybe third time's the charm for Seattle. Maybe. And week 7, you have a classic. The playing the Kansas City Chiefs rematch of Super Bowl, whatever the Super Bowl number was last year. I think it was 58. And because the Chiefs are coming off a bye week, I know the 49ers coming off a mini bye, but I got to roll with the Chiefs because they're that good after a bye week. And then week 8, they got the Dallas Cowboys, also coming off a bye week. But come on now, the 49ers own the Cowboys, and I'm not really high on Dallas this year. Week 9, they have a bye week, and I'm at 6-2. Bye Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This one is going to be more interesting than you. Because if the Buccaneers could repeat their success last year, this would be an interesting game. But I do 49ers are the better team here. I'm going to have to roll with them. And then they have Seattle. I don't see them getting swept. And this takes us right into week 12. Green Bay. I think this one, they usually own for 49ers. Yes, they own the Cowboys. They also have a stake in ownership in Green Bay. I got them winning on the road. And then week 13 against the Bills, I'm going to give them a surprise road win in Buffalo. Because I also think less of Buffalo this year. They don't have Bears, which I've already done them. And for some of them, running loss at home. Probably give it a reset. And this takes us right into the final 4 games. This one against the Rams, I kind of went back and forth. Because I already gave the 49ers a road win over them. You know what? Season sweep of the Rams. Also against the Miami Dolphins. This one is going to be... This one's interesting. I don't know where I'm going. I'm actually going to roll on the road. Because of that mini bye. I'll give them a loss at home to the Lions. Because it's a revenge loss. Them the Cardinals yet again. which puts their record at 13-4, which is a repeat of what they had last year. Even though I do think a little less of the 49ers this year because of cap reasons, who knows if Brandon Ayuk will still be on that team by the time the season starts. We just got to wait and see. And that concludes the 49ers predictions. Tell me what you think in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Gamble safely. And I'll see you next time.